Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. We have been in an entire month of returning to our true self, remembering. Last month was about arriving, being present. This month's been about remembering who you are, what you truly are. And all of this month, it's been about identity. But today, I feel called to authority. We've been dealing with identity, remembering who and what you are. And now I'm inviting us into our authority around that. But I wanted to do an opening meditation first. Returning to the original design is our meditation. So I'm going to ask you, if you will, to posture yourself for the next few minutes, just a few minutes together. We're going to breathe. We're going to listen to the beautiful music. Allow ourselves to come into a full alignment with this highest truth, the beauty of who you really are. We're going to take about 5 minutes, maybe a little longer, just to be in this space together. So I invite you, if you feel comfortable doing so, to close your eyes. Receive a deep breath in. And let it go gently. Allow your body to settle where you are. Nothing to earn. Nothing to prove. Nothing to become in this moment. Just notice. Notice that you are breathing. Notice that you are here. You did not create this presence. You are noticing what has always been present. There's a part of you that has never been outside of love. Not once. Even when you doubted. Even when you shrank to try to fit in. Even when you tried to become someone else. There is something steady beneath all of that. Breathe into that steadiness now. Inhale slowly. Exhale fully. Feel your body supported. Feel the quiet authority of simply existing. You're not reconnecting to something far away. You are remembering you were never disconnected. Once again, you're not remembering about reconnecting with something far away. You are remembering that you were never disconnected. So let that land gently. No effort. No trying. Just allowance. Notice where in your life you have been saying, almost ready, almost healed, almost confident. Without judgment, just notice. And now imagine that word almost dissolving. You do not need to become worthy of this breath. You do not need to graduate into belonging. Before anyone named you, life had already said yes. And so the word almost is dissolving. Before fear learned your voice, love was already breathing you. Take that in. You're not under construction in the eyes of the divine. You are expression. Right now, let your shoulders soften. Let your jaw release. Let your chest open just slightly. You are returning to original design. And it's not dramatic. It is staying present in your body. It is allowing your truth to exist without apology. It is letting joy be simple again. Feel your feet if they are on the floor. Feel your hands resting. Feel a sense of you belonging in this moment, exactly as you are. And from this belonging, there is a quiet authority, not dominance, not control, but the authority that says, I will not abandon myself. I will not abandon myself. Let that settle into your being. Breathe. If there's room in your life where you tend to shrink, picture it gently. And now imagine yourself entering that room rooted, not louder, not performing, just steady. Your presence calm. Your worth unquestioned. You do not need permission to exist fully. Life already gave it. So take one more slow breath in and release it. Silently say to yourself, I was never separate. I was never late. I was never outside of love. Feel the truth of that, even if only a little. And when you are ready, gently bring your awareness back to the room. Not as someone trying to become worthy, but as the original design, already declared good. So begin to wiggle your toes and your fingers. Maybe allow a smile to be on your face. Maybe stretch a little bit. Feel the connection of your body with the surface beneath you. And I say to you, namaste. And so it is. Good morning, and welcome. We are looking today at this idea, this concept of returning to the original design. This is a part of the Great Remembering. This is week 4 in that series. You know, the first month of this year, we spent time talking about arriving because the overarching theme of this whole year is the Great Emergence. And it's my feeling that in order for us to really emerge in a healthy way, we need to identify a lot of things that I think in some ways we've ignored. Some of the things that we've done is spiritually bypass, religiously bypass higher truths. We have had a head knowledge of those higher truths, but often not had an embodiment of those higher truths. I was in conversation with some folks even on Friday, and we were talking about that very thing, about how the issue is not that we don't have enough information, is that it's the issue is that not that we don't have enough books and not that we don't have enough conferences. The issue is that embodying the truth, those truths that come into our mind have to filter past all of the doubts, all of the fear, all of the conditioning, all of the limited thinking. This is one of the reasons that I firmly believe that so many great teachers and sages who often did not get as much attention through the years taught that it's about the feeling of a wish fulfilled. You know, Dr. Wayne Dyer taught extensively about this. And of course, he was influenced by individuals like Ernest Holmes. He was influenced, of course, by Neville Goddard. And both of those teachers really taught not just principle of thought, but embodying it as the highest truth, as your highest truth, and actually your nervous system being convinced of these truths. This gives you an edge because then it's heart, mind, body coherence, and they become cohorts and they don't fight against each other. So, as we've been looking at the great remembering, this is week 4, of course, as I said, and we've just finished a meditation. You just sat in stillness with me, and we sat in this stillness together. And no one had to earn that moment. No one had to prove that they were worthy of peace. You didn't have to create presence. You simply noticed it while you were sitting in that quiet moment. And that is where this finale begins. As we're looking at the 4th message in this series. For 3 weeks, we've talked about remembering, not climbing higher, not fixing yourself, remembering, returning to the awareness that has never left you. And today is a little different. Today is not about more insight, because we have a lot of insight. Today is about permission, which means to permit the mission to happen. And this is, again, the coherence of mind, body, and spirit. Because most of us are not lacking truth, but we're standing at the edge of living it. We know the truth in our brains, but we're standing at the edge of living it. So the first thing I'd like to look at today is the shift from identity to authority. We've recognized our identity. We've talked about the fact that we've never been separate from that presence. And that's the same thing that Dr. Michael Beckwith says when he says it's never in absence from us. This is that pure presence. We're never separated from it. Religion said that we were. It worked best by keeping us separate. But the truth is that we never have. Weeks 1 through 3 were about identity and identifying and remembering. But this week is about authority. Not authority over people, authority over the moment you abandon yourself in whatever it is that you're experiencing, whatever it is that you're going through. By the way, if you hear a lot of noises and voices, there are people here. We're in the process of construction here at our home studio, and so there tends to be interruptions. We'll just keep moving right on through. But we're talking about not abandoning ourselves, and we're talking about original design, not as a philosophy, not as just some nice thing to say. It is the moment that we recognize and we stop asking the room if we're allowed to be fully ourselves, to exist fully. So it's original design, not as a philosophy, but as an embodiment, so that you can stop asking whatever room you go into if you're allowed to exist fully. Dr. Wayne Dyer taught that when you align with your source, you stop seeking approval from the world. We know the old quote that he used to quote a lot, where he would say to be free of the good opinion of others. That's that you're not dependent on their good opinion. You're not dependent on their bad opinion. You're not dependent on their criticisms or their compliments. Dr. Bishop Carlton Pearson reminded us that you are never separated from God, and you were not to begin with. You've always had the power within you. You've always had that true identity within you, never been separate from the divine. And so please hear this clearly as I say this today. You are not trying to reconnect. You are remembering that you were never disconnected. Excuse me. There's a difference in trying to reconnect than tuning into what's always been there. This is not something that we have to try to do. This is something that we surrender to. We acknowledge it, and as we acknowledge it, then it becomes a part of the gnosis, and it becomes a part of the central nervous system, and we start to express that because we are allowing it to simply express through us. The original design that you are is not fragile. But some of us were told that awakening would make us quieter, make things easier. It would make us more agreeable, more sweet and kind. And yes, it makes us more generous and more compassionate. And yes, it makes us more loving, hopefully. But remembering does not make you small so that other people feel comfortable. It makes you honest. And sometimes honesty makes people feel uncomfortable. You say no faster than you used to, because many of us have been people pleasers and we've been yes people, but you say no faster than you used to. You leave spaces that shrink your spirit or try to dominate you. You stop translating your worth into language people will finally approve of. And it's not because you become arrogant. It's not because you become somebody who believes you're better than anyone or superior to anyone. That's not ego. To leave a room that's not allowing you to be who you are, that's trying to shrink you, trying to make you feel unworthy and give you a reason to search for worthiness, that's the kind of room you don't need to be in anyway. And that's not ego. That's alignment. Clarity is not harsh. Clarity is love that stopped apologizing for you being you. Now, I want to share a little bit of a fresh truth with you that I believe is fresh. It's fresh for me. Presence is the ministry. Presence is the ministry now. Being present beyond performance is being present. You're not remembering just so that you can feel peaceful. You're remembering because the world is starving for regulated souls. There's so much dysregulation in the world, so much chaos in the world, and the world is hungry. It's starving for regulated souls, not louder opinions, not more spiritual performance, not more state-of-the-art teaching, but presence. And so one of the things I'm sharing with some ministers in training right now is that our greatest ministry is not performance, it's presence. It's being in the present moment, being in the now, embodying this. We all know this in our minds, but many of us have not embodied it as a principle in our nervous system. People who know they belong walk differently. They don't dominate energy or other people, but they steady the energy because they are steady. And when you steady a room, you start to preach a message without words. I think it was D.L. Moody who said years ago, preach the gospel always, and when you need to, use words. Now, of course, he was talking about Christian gospel and the gospel of Jesus Christ, but I would say, yes, preach the gospel of Jesus Christ, which is that you can actually settle a room when you walk into it. You can steady that room without saying anything because your energy is so powerful, your aura is so powerful. When you are in brain, heart, and body coherence, that ministry is present, and that is ministry now. Moving beyond performance ministry and moving into presence now as our ministry. Now, here's a little bit of a sacred reflection that I would like to pause here for a moment to say that before anyone named you, life had already said yes to you. Before anybody limited you to a belief system, a stripe and a type, a tribal attachment, life had already said yes to you. Before fear learned your voice, love was already breathing you. You were never a mistake. God was trying to fix. God wasn't trying to convince itself to love you. That is not why Jesus' ministry was here. You were never outside of the belonging. You were never outside of the beloved. The only illusion the whole time was separation. This whole time our illusion has been separation. Original design is not something you build. It is something you stop resisting. Now here's a little bit of a confrontation that could be considered confrontational. A little gentle confrontation. When spirituality becomes a delay, let me speak to that gently. Some of us hide inside spiritual language. We say we are waiting. We say we are integrating. We say that we're not ready yet. And sometimes that is wisdom, but sometimes it's fear trying to sound sacred. But grace was never a reward for perfection. It's never been a reward for perfection. Grace is the atmosphere that you have always lived inside of. This is original design. Original design does not rush you, but it does stop agreeing with the story that says you must wait forever to become accepted. And here's what returning actually looks like. Returning is not dramatic. It looks like staying in the body during a hard conversation and not being baited to get in anger and get into angst and into argument. It looks like telling the truth without rehearsing shame afterward, without being ashamed of who you truly are, not having to hide who you are, unapologetically you. It looks like letting joy be simple again. Now, Dr. Wayne Dyer would call it alignment. He would say this is alignment with our higher self, alignment with our higher truth. Bishop Carlton Pearson would call it liberation. I call it coming home to yourself without leaving the room. Being present with you without ever having to leave the space. Now, a part of that requires for us to let go of something we discovered, I think, uncovered a little bit in the meditation, and that's the word almost. To let go of almost. I want to speak to the voice inside that says almost. In other words, the voice that says you're almost ready, you're almost healed, you're almost confident, you're almost worthy, you're almost ready to belong. Hear me when I say this. Love does not speak in almost. Life never looked at you and said, come back when you're finished, when you're a completed project. Life said you are good. The voice of God in the Genesis account looks at all of creation and says, it is good. Now, you've been told your whole life you were bad, that you needed to adjust, that you needed to become someone different in order to be accepted. But God said from the very foundation of the world that you are good. God looked at all of creation and said, you are good. Not someday, not when you go to enough conferences and you quote enough scriptures and you're sacred enough, not when you're quote unquote perfect, but right now. And the voice that says almost is conditioning, trying to keep its control. It's the limitation, trying to hang on to control. Original design never called you unfinished. You're not incomplete. You're still unfolding, yes, but you're not incomplete. You're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. If you were supposed to be somewhere else, you would be. Now, I would like to share a commission with you that I believe is a commission for me. It's inviting me into a mission, and that's the great releasing. So this is the shift. The great remembering does not end with inspiration. It ends with decision. Hopefully you've been inspired up to this point to remember who you are. But here's the grand finale of this. This whole series of the whole month, it ends with the finale is a decision, a choice. You being decisive, you taking on authority. It's a decision to stop shrinking in rooms that need your presence. It's a decision to stop apologizing for existing fully as you. It is a decision to live from love instead of fear. You're not graduating into belonging. You always belonged. You're waking up inside of that belonging. Because it's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do, no one to become. You are it now. And so you're not graduating into a belonging. You are waking up inside the belonging that you already were. You're not finding the beloved. You're discovering that you are never separate from the beloved. And once you remember that, you stop asking, what do I need to become? You begin asking, how do I live as what is already true? Loved ones, as we bring this series to a completion, as we bring this to a finale, may you walk forward, rooted, not rushed, not pushed to effort. May you stop negotiating with a love that has already said yes to you. And may you live not as someone trying to become worthy, but as the original design that never required external improvement or approvement. And my prayer for you is that your presence would calm rooms that you never even have to speak in. May your honesty, your authenticity free people who may never hear your story. And may you remember again and again and again every day that you were never separate. You were never late. You were never outside of the embrace of the divine. That you have always been and always will be irrevocably and eternally connected to that divine nature, because that is also your nature. And may we leave this series around remembering and go live like we know it. Live like we believe it's true. Allow that to be so embodied in us that that becomes the way we show up. We don't show off. We don't have to show off. We don't have to scream our story or yell about what we think is real or what we think is true. We don't have to get louder with our opinions. We just simply show up fully ourselves. That is my desire for you, that you will recognize this original design in your life and return to the awareness of your original design. I hear the voice of the Creator saying, from the foundation of the world, you are good. And good is just God extended. You are good. Your baseline is good godness. You are a divine being in human form. Expressing that is now the journey. And it's not work. It's awareness. And in the awareness, the action takes place. I love you, my friends. I hope that this has been a ministry to you. I hope it's been a blessing to you. My desire is that you will go and live like you know your original design, that you'll walk in it, that you'll not just amen it, but that you'll I'm in it. And as a result of that, you'll start seeing that outflow in your life. Now go and make it a great week just because you can. Peace. Loved ones, thank you so much for joining us today for our devotional service. The ways to give are on the screen right now. You can, of course, text to give. You can utilize our app. You can also go to firstunity.org/give. And on that page, you can actually decide to become an auto giver. That's really what it takes to become a sustaining partner to this ministry. If you believe in what we're doing here, I'm asking you to consider supporting the light that currently is and seeding that light for the future. We continue with our ways to give by offering our P.O. Box, our Cash App, and our QR code for you to scan on the screen. So I want to say a special thank you to everyone who has chosen this community to be a place where you want to give your financial seed. Know that when you're planting that seed, it is going into fertile soil, and you activate the law of circulation in your life. God bless you.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let and let it begin with me. Let it begin with me. Let it begin with me. It begins with me. I am peace. 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 To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Now there is peace on earth, and it has begun.